Some interesting things are continuing for Becky Lynch, so we'll see what that's about. We'll also check out what's going on with Bayley, Lana, and more. Starting things off with Becky Lynch and what's new there. Becky may no longer be reigning Women's Intercontinental Champion, but she surprisingly still has a handful of developing stories still revolving around her. The big one being her apparent lawsuit against Adam Pearce, AJ Lee, and Maxine Dupree. When Becky created this whole storyline narrative on social media of coming after Adam Pearce legally for how she lost her title, we question if this narrative would be brought over to actual WWE television. And technically it was brought through over by Becky's Raw arrival moment. When Becky was walking into Raw, she was on the phone with her lawyer, and she had her lawyer on speaker so you can make out some of the things that they were saying. Becky noted that she wanted Adam Pearce served with court papers by the end of Raw, but her lawyer calmed her down, told her it was still an easy case, and how they're easily going to reverse everything in order for her to be champion again. So Becky may be busy with AJ Lee and the entire War Games preparation at the moment, but she hasn't forgotten about everything that went down at MSG with her Intercontinental title loss to Maxine Dupree. Becky is very much still fighting that entire issue, and it's still on her mind, so that whole narrative is not going anywhere. And Becky's other more low-key storyline is continuing in the background, and that's the story with WWE referee Jessica Carr. This is something strange, and it's something that fans have caught on to in recent weeks. But ever since Becky's mixed tag team match against AJ and Punk back on September 20th, it feels like Jessica Carr has been the referee for every single one of Becky's big matches since that night. The mixed tag match, all the title defenses against Maxine, and the MSG loss itself. Jessica Carr was a referee in every single one of those Becky Lynch matches. And in every one of those matches, Becky had some type of heated encounter with Jessica Carr, and it eventually always spills onto social media, where Becky and Jessica have been exchanging shots at one another. Becky has called Jessica crazy and corrupt, while Jessica said that someone has to give Becky the help that she really needs. So not only are the issues with AJ and Maxine continuing, but strangely enough, Becky's issues with Jessica Carr are continuing as well. At first, fans thought maybe it was a coincidence that Jessica Carr was a referee for almost every single Becky Lynch match as of late. But now fans feel like it's not a coincidence, but it's being done on purpose for maybe a bigger storyline reason that we don't fully understand at this point in time. The easiest guess and assumption that fans have been making in recent weeks is that Jessica and Becky's issues with each other will lead towards Jessica Carr making her in-ring debut on the main roster. Maybe it's starting to transition for Jessica Carr to go from referee to an active competitor, given the fact that Jessica is a professionally trained wrestler after all. That has been the fan theory for several months now, and it looks like that idea is still in play because the issues between Becky and Jessica are still continuing in current day. So she may not have championship gold around her waist anymore, but Becky technically has 3 feuds and 3 storylines surrounding her at the moment. So it'll be great to see how they balance all 3 of these stories for Becky Lynch. Bayley recently recalled a story about how she ended up in serious trouble for something that should have never been that serious to begin with. Bayley said that it was in the 4th grade. She was taken to the principal's office, and they had a serious talk with her because they caught her drawing the popular cool S, and they assumed that it was a gang that she was in. So it was a tricky situation for Becky to get out of. But as far as what's going on with Bayley right now, and Lyra as well, since she's paired up with Bayley, it's an absolute roller coaster of a mess to follow at the moment. They were paired up, Bayley had the whole split personality act in play, it looked like they were about to become a force in the women's tag team division, but then they lost their title opportunity and faded away. They disappeared for so long that fans figured that maybe Bayley's new gimmick was dropped, because we didn't see Bayley or Lyra for several weeks in a row. But then, just around 2 weeks ago, we saw that backstage segment with Bayley, Lyra, and the Kabuki Warriors that proved that Bayley still had the new gimmick after all. So everyone is thinking that maybe we see some new things from Bayley, and that new act that's apparently back on. But then Lyra and Bayley were nowhere to be seen the following week on Raw. So just very inconsistent and hard to follow there for Bayley and Lyra's story at the moment. But fans are assuming that Bayley and Lyra have been feuding on again, off again lately due to all the airtime needing to go towards the buildup of both women's world title matches and the women's War Games match. So after Survivor Series is completed, hopefully we start to get a more clear picture about what exactly is going on with Bayley's character and her tag team with Lyra, because as of right now, everything is messy with that story. Could there be some familiar help on the way for Rusev? It sounds like that's a strong chance. Rusev's first run in WWE took place with his real wife, with CJ Perry being by his side, playing the WWE character of Lana. This duo was incredible together, and Lana was an amazing addition to Rusev's character, and just an outstanding manager that really elevated Rusev's presentation. They were eventually split up on television due to storyline-related matters, but fans have been wondering if it's possible to see Rusev and Lana reunite in current day. Rusev returned a few months back, and his wife CJ Perry has been at several shows supporting Rusev, and she even recently signed a WWE Legends contract, but fans have still been curious to know if we'll see Lana back on television again by Rusev's side. Well, CJ Perry was recently speaking with TMZ, and she was asked about potentially making another return to the ring. And CJ noted that as much as she would love to return to the ring herself, she feels like she's at her best when she's used as a manager. She had this to say about the topic, quote, "I would love to wrestle again, but I do believe that my money pocket and what I add the most value to wrestling companies is talking and promoting their talent. We're in the business of selling tickets and promoting. That's why Logan and Jake are so good at what they do. It's because they know how to tell stories, and they know how to promote it, and they know how to make it really entertaining at that. I believe I do well at those things, and Lana knows she can help Rusev," end quote. CJ Perry went on to say that she does miss performing, and how there's no adrenaline rush quite like being out there and performing. CJ's comments definitely got fans talking and buzzing. It sounds like if WWE calls, envisioning putting Rusev and Lana back together on television, it sounds like there's a strong chance that CJ Perry will take that offer and make a huge return to WWE. It's going to be 5 years since CJ Perry last appeared for WWE, so assuming that she does make a return down the line, it's no doubt going to be a massive return for herself and a big boost for Rusev as well. So hopefully that reunion does end up happening on WWE television after all in the near future, because a lot of fans will be excited to see that. 2021 might have been Lana's last match, but it's been even longer than that since we've seen Rusev and Lana together on screen, so it's definitely long overdue. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.